Telling our stories is the connective tissue of the collective human experience. The Just Keep Talking podcast delves into the lives and stories of artists. What is the impact of mental health on creativity? What does it mean to be a creative individual? Someone who feels deeply, experiences joy and pain intensely, and navigates the challenges of life through the creative process. With each story shared, we explore the authentic experience of our basic need to be seen, to be heard, and to belong. We're really not so different from one another, nor are we alone. Together, we can inspire, encourage, and enlighten each other to find the true joy and fulfillment that is within ourselves. When we just keep talking, we create the space for gratitude, self-acceptance, and grace in everyday life. In a world filled with divisiveness, fostering inclusivity and connection is a powerful way to make a positive impact. The Just Keep Talking podcast with me, Brother Love, because your story matters. Hello and welcome to the Just Keep Talking podcast. My name is Brother Love and I so appreciate you tuning into this fabulous show. I think it's fabulous because we have Kristen Rogers as our guest this week. Hello.
Hi, Larry.
Kristen Rogers, career singer, the go-to for all of your vocal needs, ladies and gentlemen. You are a live performer, you are a session performer, you're a teacher. You've toured and or have worked with Zach Bryan, Eric Church, Anderson East, Hozier, The Killers, Marcus King, Reba McEntire, Laurie McKenna, The Revivalists, Jake Wesley Rogers, James Otto, Them Vibes. Yes. You are currently on tour with Post Malone. You're on a break. That's why we're here. How are you?
I'm good, Larry. It's great to see you. And it's so terrifying to hear that list just spill out of you.
It's wild.
I feel like I'm supposed to be important.
Well, this is part of the fun of this, is that to so many of us in Nashville, as singers, as performers, you are one of the most important. You're the matriarch of the vocal world in Nashville, Tennessee.
I couldn't possibly stand straight underneath the weight of that crown, but I consider it an honor if anybody sees me as successful around here. You know, I love what I do, and I hope that any success I've had has been born out of that love and the care and investment I put into my craft. Oh, I got so serious at the top of this.
Well, you do. You care so much. We met a few years ago. We met on a session doing behind the scenes things. Mm-hmm. Was it James Otto or Charlie Argo?
I believe we met on Charlie. I believe I did Charlie first.
Yes. It was Charlie Argo, who has a fabulous record out, and Alex and I from Them Vibes, we had a cut or two on his record. And
let's go.
Yeah, and then we did the same deal with James Otto. It was the same situation.
And y'all, in this case, Larry was my vocal producer, which is my favorite role, the least used role, I think, in this whole town.
Yeah.
Is somebody who really understands the voice and can come in and specifically guide it. Which is, I just get so excited whenever I'm being produced because somebody's like, actually, do this, do that. And I'm like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yeah. It's so fun.
Well, that's exactly why I fell in love with you instantaneously. I was like, how do I not know this person? Like, imagine just having the greatest time at your job. I don't know. I mean,
I have the best time.
The best time. You had the best time. We had the best time that day. And so
we do vibe.
We do vibe. And so vocal production, see, I didn't know that was a thing. You could be a vocal producer. Now, I've seen more egomaniac type people. I've seen big egos in this town.
You have? Where?
Where they say something to the effect of like, make sure I have vocal producer on the back of your record. And I thought, I never even knew that was a thing.
It really, I think it more used to be a thing than it is a thing.
Yeah.
I actually remember I was raised, born in 87. What's up? Age is a fact, not an insult.
West Coast, right? You're
Denver,
Colorado.
Yeah. So west-ish.
Yeah. More west of here.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I was raised, 90s VH1 behind the music. Mm-hmm. And in those times, vocal producer was a very important role. You had all of these young boy bands who 15, 16, 17 years old when they get put in these bands, they don't know how to arrange vocal parts and do all these really complicated things they were doing. So a vocal producer was this incredibly important role. Wow. Someone to teach them the parts, someone to help them use their voices. They're kids going through puberty, most likely half of them. Like, their voices are really difficult to use at those ages. They became really important to have your vocal producer in the studio. It's just somebody who understands that really well. And whenever I started seeing these things through, behind the music and other kind of behind the scenes shows, I was like, holy cow, that's what I want to do. That was actually the first music job I really wanted.
Wow.
Was to be a vocal producer. And then of course, by the time I'm graduating college and living here, Spotify hits the deck just almost exactly at that same moment. And a bunch of money dries up and vocal producer is no longer a thing.
Maybe that's why I never really understood it, because it was never an offer to me.
I don't think so. And of course, these were people really that only worked at the highest level of record making, your highest master scale, big label budgets. Yeah. But I'm like, hell yeah, that's so fun. And we still do it in town. It's usually, I find like me and my friends that will do it occasionally. Yeah. You bring your vocal coach in while you're tracking. Just like, hey, we already have a relationship. You know how to use my voice well, or help me use my voice well, rather. So that becomes a role occasionally, but it's not like, Sony Nashville calls me up and they're like, hey, girl.
Right.
Not that there is a Sony Nashville like personified. There are people that work there, though.
It's funny because I remember being signed to Warner Music back when I first moved to Nashville, 2008, 2009. I was the drummer in a country rock band.
Hell yeah.
And there was a coach that came. It wasn't necessarily a vocal. It was an all-encompassing. This is what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And I'm telling you, I did something that I'd never done before in my life, and I don't think I've ever done it since, and I don't know why I did it, but I got called out for it, rightfully so. Somehow or other, I think I felt like I was late getting to my position behind the kit on stage, and I somehow skipped. Like, I didn't run, and I didn't walk cool. I literally skipped somehow to the drum kit.
Adorable.
And they stopped. They're like, you can't skip. And I'm like, no kidding, you can't skip. There's nothing cool about that at all. I'm like, I didn't skip. They're like, yeah, you skipped. I'm like, who's skipping? I definitely looked goofy skipping. And they were like, this is, on our label. This is a rock country band, the next thing, and blah, blah, blah. You can't have a drummer that's skipping to his loo.
The way that if I was at a show and expecting this more masculine, bro, Southern rock energy, and the drummer skips out, I'd be oh, I'm in.
You're a better person than most.
I'm in for this show. Hell yeah. If I'm your performance coach, I'm like, everybody skip.
Right.
I loved that. That felt right to me.
But these coaches, this is stuff that you inherently do. Now, working with you, okay, let's go back. So I was, let's say, your coach on this project, right?
Yes, thank you, Larry.
Which was, thank you. It was the experience of, hey, why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? And you are able to do everything. You really are able to do everything. So you're classically trained. Your mom was a classical singer, is a classical singer.
Yeah, I was. Was. She's with us. She just doesn't sing anymore.
Right. I knew she was alive. Right. And so you really grew up, learning the craft from the deep within. Mm-hmm. Because it's not just something you do, it's something you be.
Yeah. I mean, I would say there is, of course, growing up in a musical home, a very identity-based aspect to making music. I never didn't. I could not recall a moment before making music.
Yeah.
As a small child, you just sing. Everybody's singing. You join. It's natural. It's free.
Yeah. What was the first time in your life that you remembered, I get this? I don't know what it is necessarily, or maybe you did. Because for me, it was like I was listening to music and I was singing and air drumming, and I was right on time. I hit the cymbal where there was a cymbal. I grabbed a harmony that I didn't know was a harmony. And I just thought, everything about this is perfectly right.
Right. You clicked.
I clicked with it. And I was, 6, 7 years old, maybe even 5.
First of all, let me just acknowledge, I think it's really cool that you as a child knew it was right. You had that innate, when it clicked, you were like, oh, I know the difference.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's pretty innate musical instinct.
Better than stealing a pack of gum from the candy store that I did the day before that day.
Yes, and baby. You had to have that little musician's rebel edge too.
That's true. Right.
I would say for me the moment was, and mine was of course external validation, which is so funny.
Yeah, of course.
I was walking through the room. My mother was a fabulous pianist as well. And she used to play hymns all the time and sing. And she'd always just have a hymnal or some songbook and just be flipping through and playing stuff. And she was singing a hymn and I was walking through the room and just joining her. I didn't intentionally try to do something.
Right.
But she stopped me and she's like, get over here. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm in trouble. I didn't think, oh, shit, at the time. I definitely was like, oh, no. But anyway, she was like, sing that again. And I did, but I switched to the melody.
Right.
I had been just naturally hearing and performing a harmony. I was about 7 too. Yeah. And she's like, no, those other notes you were singing, try that again. Mm-hmm. So I did. And she is over the moon. She's like, yes, this kid hears parts. So it became my game growing up because my mom was like, this is great. And I was like, oh, this is something that's good. Let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
So our game became, we were always my mother's page turners. And that is probably the extent of my ability to read music well, is like I can follow what I hear really well and know when to turn the page.
So you were turning pages when she was singing and playing piano as well, or just?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. I was turning her piano music.
Right. Turning the page. Yeah. She's busy playing.
Very intense. Yes. Very big job. But that said, it became our game that every time I would need to turn the page, she would be like, okay, find new notes to sing with me. Keep singing this song, switch.
Yeah.
And occasionally she'd stop me and be like, hey, this note you're singing, listen to what I'm playing with my hands. You know, whatever it was. Is your note, does that feel good here? Does that match? Mm-hmm. Can you make it match? And she would basically just put me through BGV boot camp for like an hour a day because it was our fun game that we both loved to play.
Yeah.
I was essentially just training for my job.
Yeah.
But it was natural for me. And then I just kind of stopped identifying with enjoying singing lead parts. Like I was like, I just kind of like hearing these other little musical bits throughout, and the obsession just got real solid at that point.
It was the most fun thing ever.
It was. And then that really developed into, I had a dual cassette tape karaoke machine in my room.
Wow.
Yes. Don't be jealous.
Was there a picture of an artist on said machine?
No, it was very serious. It was plastic, of course, but it was like silver. You know, it wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
It was not a child's toy. It was a more legit piece of equipment.
We had one. Yeah.
But I figured out this is around the era that, you know, a few years later where we have early Destiny's Child records out, and I am just obsessed. So I figure out, I just literally by myself, I'd never been in a recording studio. No one in my family works in that side of music at all.
Right.
But I figure out that I can be like, can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? And I can play that back, you know, bills, and add all my little BGV parts in, and then play it back and add my third BGV. I'm running an overdub session in my room my whole childhood just because it's a fun game.
So you heard yourself recorded at an early age.
All the time.
Wasn't a big deal.
All the time. The minute homework was done, it was me and my tapes. And of course, you know, by the time you track all three parts, you can barely hear the lead and it's so warbled and crappy because I'm like using 15 times recorded over cassette tapes. So then I'd go back and like sing another lead to double. So then I was learning how to double as well. I was just a total weirdo. It was just a game I liked.
Yeah. Isn't listening the greatest gift?
It is so necessary to understand your instrument. I can't even say enough about it.
Yeah. It's funny because I've been complimented and I didn't think anything of it when doubling myself, whether it's a lead vocal or a background vocal, it doesn't matter, because I'm just like, well, I just did it and I can feel me doing it while I'm doing it. And that quick second, not even a second, it's quicker than that, where if you forget, let's say, you know, you blow your nose, you come back to the mic, your body goes, well, I think what I would do here is this. And you did, because you did do it, because you just did do it. It's a remarkably fun feeling.
Yes.
And it's all about listening. And I think listening is the greatest gift.
Yes. I mean, you just dipped a pinky finger in a very, very, very deep well.
Yeah.
Which I want to acknowledge, I guess, two parts of it. The first thing that I love that you said was that you just felt this in your body. You can just make that feeling again and make the same sound. Something that I have been really, really developing thought about in the last stretch of time, especially as a vocal coach, is the idea of somatic singing. And all that is to say is that, you know, as singers, of course, because we are making sound, everything that happens visually can contribute, but really all we're doing is trying to make sound.
Yeah.
By the time we hear that sound we made, it is what it is. And if we're responding to that sound, like let's say I hit a note I don't like, by the time that I hear it, I already made the sound. We all heard it. And let's say, for instance, it's like a tight muscular sound, like something that's uncomfortable for us as singers, but you know, you can get into depending on if you're just like in a range that's less comfortable, or maybe just tired in general. Maybe your body's inflamed because of one of a million reasons, because you're a body. If you're waiting for that sound and only responding to it, it's too late. So now as a coach, I'm really coming into a very somatically based process, which is to say, okay, maybe what we do is we start with, this is how that feels. And I can trust that every time.
Wow.
Because also you are a live performer. How inconsistent is monitoring?
Oh my gosh. Forget it. It's,
The least.
Yeah.
The least. You're on wedges. It's really hard to get the voice loud enough to cut above a band.
Yeah.
That the wedge is probably facing 5 feet away, not even.
Yeah.
Then you occasionally get in-ears, which can be even more disorienting because you're isolated with whatever sound you have, which for the less musically experienced listeners, in-ears are like little headphones you wear on stage
Yeah.
to give you your sound instead of having big speakers in front of you. In the studio, you know, there's tons and tons of gear and you have your engineer who's trying to make an interesting sound. Maybe they send a version of your voice back to you that doesn't feel like your voice. So you start changing things.
Yeah.
But if you know how it feels whenever you got muscular fluidity and healthy vocal engagement, you can count on that every time.
Yeah. That's amazing you say that because I've had to, I guess, coach singers that I'm performing with because I'm like, okay, A, it's going to be very loud. And I am sorry for that, I guess, or not. But,
Right.
you know, let's try not to scream.
That's just going to hurt your instrument and our ears.
Yep.
Love
And
ya.
let's try to remember what it feels like. I've said this to people hoping that it would at least trigger a positive response, which is just remember, you got this. You know how it feels in your body when
Yes.
that note resonates correctly and it feels right. You know it and you'll feel it and you'll adjust accordingly. And it's very helpful, but it's scary because it's the unknown.
Well, and it's hard to access whenever you're performing because adrenaline is a gigantic piece of the equation.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you have adrenaline? Why does adrenaline exist? Adrenaline exists because if we had not evolved in such a weird ass direction as humans, we would need to still have that heightened body state to run from bears and mountain lions. Adrenaline gives you an extra boost of energy.
Yeah.
It's the lifting the car off the baby, which once again, maybe evolutionarily shouldn't even be possible. You know, I'm one of those. But that said, you know, if we lived outside, all of these instincts built from within the experience of living in the natural world.
Right.
Now we feel adrenaline because we're going on stage. Nothing's coming for us.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to attack us, but we still get that gigantic surge of energy, which when you consider using the voice, we want it to be loose and able to resonate and vibrate. And adrenaline's going to make you start pushing your muscles, tensing them, tightening them, running, sprinting energetically. It's going to be very hard to get loose and resonate and vibrate. It takes a lot of experience to get your body on board with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, how do you do it? Because there's so much to this. I mean, you are talking about the physiology of the body, and you're also a very prepared singer, which I'm going to get to in a minute.
Stop. Thank you.
You run around on stage. You're with Post Malone. You've been with Eric Church. You're with some of these Hozier. You're with these huge acts. With them vibes when we perform together.
That's the most runny aroundy of stages.
It's a very runny aroundy kind of stage. So how do you mentally prepare for this stuff and physically at the same time? Because it's so much and so exciting, and you do it all the time. And obviously, you're a professional. You're at the top of this game. What do you do? Because I know a lot of people that just are like, if I can get half of that, I'm all right. Right?
Yeah.
If I'm hard on the vocal, well, I'll be a little sharp and that'll be that. Well,
Yeah.
we're trying not to be that.
Sure. And you know what? I do want to make the case for that. I love to hear and experience something with passion above all else. So you know what? If it's a little imperfect, if you're hitting notes a little off sometimes, but you're giving me something real, I pick that every time. But we also want to be great performers that don't have to pick between those two things. So that said, number one is just experience. There's something about anytime you do something new, you're going to be nervous. Like even the other day, I'm in a rehearsal, a good friend of mine, Billy, a good friend of yours, Billy Justino, is playing keys. And there was something that had 3 keys parts. And I play keys with my students 2-3 days a week. I'm just sitting down. I'm not a good instrumentalist, my friends, but I'm very comfortable just blocking out some triads, following along, just quickly charting a song by ear. Those are all things I do all the time. But now I'm in a room full of unbelievable musicians, and Billy's trying to show me this thing that like barely moves.
Right.
But my brain just went, no. It took me like 15 times to get it. And I felt that immediate frustration. I felt my nervous system rise. And I was like, Billy, I'm sorry. I'm just like having a minute. He's one of my best friends. It's not intimidating to be doing it with him. But is he a world-class keys player? And am I staring right at a world-class guitar player and drummer and bass player and other fabulous artists, singers? Yeah, I am. And my nervous system just goes, no. No.
Yeah.
And you know, my hands are like doing the shake thing, and I'm like, this is so stupid. I'm at rehearsal with my friends and I play keys all the time, but I don't have experience sharing that skill. I don't have to think about going into the event we were going into, staring at the faces I have to stare at playing this, because the one thing that's missing is experience. So A, that's huge.
Right.
B, I mean, something I work on with my students, I see most of this through their lenses because at this point, I'm trying to feel something. You know, I think that most of that adrenaline has left me naturally because I've done this so much.
Right.
But that's a great thing because I do get, you know, I work with my boss who I've worked with for 2 years and...
Your boss?
Post Malone. My current boss.
Yeah.
You know, I bounce around still, but he's my main boss.
Yeah.
So like, you know, first rehearsal, I'm sitting outside just like, oh my God. Like,
yeah.
Are they sure? Are they sure? But you know, you go in, he's a sweet person, very disarming. And so very quickly you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Very quickly you're comfortable. And then, you know, now I'm 2 years in, I'm not usually getting a ton of adrenaline before the gig.
Right.
But that's also 14 years of touring under my belt.
Yes.
I'm kind of trying to feel something. I see most of these things now through my students' lenses, but something that we work on establishing is singing being like a really like safe space and a calm and peaceful space for you.
Yeah.
As you know, this industry is interesting. It can be very difficult because your identity gets attached to your art.
Yeah.
And there's so much pressure, especially for these artists. They are the product that needs to be sold.
Yeah.
And people are deciding all the time how much value that has, if at all.
Yeah.
Which is rough.
Yeah.
That's rough because sometimes people go, it has no value. And you have to go, wait, it's not me. It's not me. I have no value. Oh my God, no, maybe, no.
Yeah.
You know, it's incredibly difficult. So something that I'm working to establish with my students at present is that's going to keep happening. We can expect that. This industry will keep being kind of dark, very challenging.
Yeah.
So didn't we all come here and take this risk in the first place because we love to sing, to express, to write, to play?
Yeah.
We better find a way to enjoy that part.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you see people bring their struggle on stage and I totally feel for them. But it's like, if you can, right as you're walking up to stage, take that pile of bricks you're holding, set them down and go, I love this and I will share my love of this right now.
Wow.
Because it's a safe space because it is the thing you've done since you were toddling through life, literally because you could barely walk. You know?
Do you get that a lot from your students as far as like, we're not just going to talk about how I can sing clearer or not hurt my voice or be more healthy with my body, but the mental health aspect of it all.
You know what's cool is it all goes together.
It does, right?
Because if you are coming in really anxious trying to sing, you're tight. Anxiety is tightness. I mean, you can physically see someone anxious. Their shoulders are a little higher. They're a little jumpier, a little more erratic.
Yeah.
I have been her so many times. Thank you, Zoloft. I literally love you. But that said, when we're looking to release that, a really cool thing, your vagus nerve, this very, very important nerve between your brainstem and your spinal cord, regulates your parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah.
So if you can come to a place in your body, where you're gently resonating and vibrating that nerve, you actually do calm your internal nerves. You calm that heightened state. And so like the idea of it being a safe space and it helping your mental health and also figuring out how to use your voice in a way that resonates and will stimulate that vagus nerve, it all kind of becomes one conversation. I don't want you to come in and tell me everything that's going on. You know, I'm not a therapist. I don't have any certification. I don't ever want someone to feel that I do. But do I find that after, you know, our half hour of vocal therapy that I start most lessons with, you know, vocal therapy and exercises, do people have totally different energy? Yeah.
Yeah.
They usually come in spinning off the street because they've just been doing a write or a session or a something, or I had a show last night. It made me feel this way. And then we stimulate that vagus nerve for 30 minutes and they're like, wow, I'm kind of good at singing. I'm like, yeah, you really are.
Yeah.
You're fine. You always were. See,
there it is. You always were.
Oh, you were it the whole time.
Yeah.
This tension came from maybe all that.
Yeah.
Maybe all the other things that are around this. The thing itself is always safe.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So is there and I hate to say quick way and a shortcut. No, I'm serious. You don't even need to tell me what it was, but I'm sure, because you're a human being, something happened and you had to go on in 30. Right? And it's probably at more
Go
than
on in two.
or go on in two. Yeah, I was being
Yeah.
generous, but really,
Oh,
what
yeah.
is something that you just can quickly say, all right, because you're a human being. I consider you to be a very grounded person, and I don't know you even that well. I mean, I know you
Yeah.
as far as I know. I know what you give. And what you give is very generous and it's very open always. But you are absolutely a person who has boundaries. You're somebody that protects yourself in addition to being a very giving person.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you, because so many of us benefit from that. And people, when you're listening to songs that you don't even know it's Kristen Rogers, you're benefiting from it too, because she's on the radio every 5 seconds. But I'm sure that in a pinch, something happens, because something always does. And I got to be the best me I can be right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any,
I mean, well, it helps to be a little sociopathic, which I think I've got an edge.
yeah, you're pretty
you
good.
just turn it right off.
Right.
No.
I
You know
could just
what?
turn this off. I could turn crazy off anytime.
Yeah, you have to be able to turn crazy off when you're a little kooky.
Yeah.
I feel like respectfully, maybe we both have an edge of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we're successful adults, it's because we learned how to like at least mute the kook a little bit.
Mute the kook.
Yeah,
I like that.
Well, it's like I always talk about like when I have to be professional. I hung out with someone the other night and I had to be very professional for days on end.
Right.
And I was like, I'm sorry. I know I'm going to be so weird tonight because I've had to be professional for days.
Yeah.
And I like can't do it anymore. So I'm just going to be the weirdest girl tonight.
Yeah.
'Cause I have to keep it in. But that said, I would say something that I've learned from being on the road a very long time is to embrace and protect, and not protect rather, but to embrace with really wide arms the duality of experience.
Wow. Yeah.
The duality of two things happening right now, right in my face. And okay, now I just have to hold it all and maybe go on stage and play a 2-hour set for people screaming when something just happened in my family.
Right.
Or something just happened with one of my, it could be a myriad of things. It could even just be that, a lot of us are subject to mental health struggles. It could just be like you're having the most depressed day of your life. You don't even want someone to look at you.
Yeah.
Everybody's had these days. Maybe you even stayed home from work on one of those days. And on that day that you got to stay home from work, like I had to go in front of 20,000 people and smile and shake my ass.
Yeah.
And that can be really, really hard, of course,
Yep.
for anyone in any role in any job. But I think that something that has come with age has been the understanding that two things can be very true.
That's amazing.
And, my family can be having this awful moment, but I can know that they're safe.
Yeah.
I can go, okay, I know they're safe. And I know that even if I were home in Nashville, that is not home with my family in Colorado, I'd still have to get there. So if I need to go tomorrow, I can go tomorrow. But for tonight, I need to be right here.
Yeah.
And there are 20, I'm just using this number. It's been more, it's been less, but 20,000 people, let's say, are out there. Let's say 1/20 of them don't live in this city.
Yeah.
That's 1,000 people that drove from somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
That's a shit ton of people. That's 1,000 hotel rooms. That's 1,000 little car trips. That's 1,000 plans to get your babysitter. And that's 1/20 of the people. And they've maybe been looking forward to this forever. Maybe this is their favorite artist. Maybe they've never seen this artist. And it's going to bring them joy for months.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For months. And I need to go, okay, I am right here and this is very real. And I'm going to do my best not to bring all of my stuff here to you. You need me to be a character, and that's the job I signed up for.
Right.
So I'm going to put on my cowboy costume and go goof off with y'all.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back after the show and go, we played a great show, and I'm going to be proud of that for a minute. I'm going to sit with that. And then maybe once I have space later, I'm going to open my arms wide again and go, okay, and here's the rest of it, and call my family and see how are we doing. But you do just have to be a little buff. You have to be able to hold a lot.
Yeah. Well, good for you, because you're able to do that all the time. Yeah. Well, I was listening to an interview you did on Take This Personally with Morgan Hulsman.
Yes, Morgan Hulsman. Yeah, she's fabulous.
Yeah, that was a great interview. And you were talking about seasons and things are being seasonal. And yeah, we've talked about this before, but work is seasonal, right? Right now, it would be considered the slower season, which is beginning to be busier.
Yes.
But the season is slow work-wise. Mental health is seasonal as well.
Woo.
How are you doing being home? You've been home now, like this is probably a longer stint for you now?
This is a very long stint for me to be home.
How long have you been home?
So we finished our tour year last year in mid-December.
Yeah.
And it is, I guess, late March at present. And we have had one show this year.
Right.
So I've basically been off for 3 months.
Right. What was the one show, by the way? Was it? It wasn't at the basement. I know that. It was
not at the basement. No, it was a Bud Light event for the Super Bowl.
Right.
So you were out in San Fran having fun.
Right. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's great. It was really great.
Do you enjoy being home? Things are seasonal. Like, are you okay? You know, how's your mental health? How's your physical health? Your home. I mean, is it easier to be home when you know you're going to leave?
Yes.
Because you know you have work coming up.
Yes.
Which makes things a lot more palatable, I guess, you know. But how are you doing with the home time and the mental health time while you're home?
Well, thank you for asking. That's a really sweet question. I'm finding that I actually, in a mental health sense, do a lot better when I'm home because I have structure.
Yeah.
I have privacy. You know, you can really let your nervous system come all the way down whenever you're in your home space. I should say I am very fortunate that I can let my nervous system down in my home space. We are actually here right now in my home. There's nothing here that provides me stress. I don't have a husband or a boyfriend or kids or even a dog. I want the dog. Not sure about the rest of it, but I want the dog. But that said, you know, there's nothing here that can really throw me off too much. So I actually really get restorative time whenever I'm home.
Yeah.
I've lived here for 20 years. You know, I have friends that I've had since day one. I've had friends for a couple of years. You know, I'm very, very lucky to have a gigantic family of support here in town.
Yeah.
You know, think about if we're on the road, let's say I've got an early sound check and then, you know, the whole afternoon is mine. Yes. But I'm either going to hang out with the people that I see 24 hours a day, every day, or go off by myself for a little restorative time. It's not like I can pop off and just see like one of my besties for an hour.
Yeah.
And get that time that like, hey, we actually understand each other. You may or may not understand a single person you work with. And that can be really hard because you are spending all your time with them. And I think it can be easy to assume that you align in ways that you really may not.
Yeah.
But you know what? You have to remember, like, you didn't choose these people. Like, your friends at home are the ones you chose.
Right.
Are the ones that you're like, oh yeah, we vibe. So even the other day, I had an event with an early sound check, but I'm in town.
Right.
And had the whole afternoon free. It was this crazy warm day out of nowhere. And my best friend and her 2 kids live 1 mile away.
Yeah.
So I put on my shoes and I just walked to their house to go hang out with them and got to go play with her kids for a few hours in the afternoon and go back and play the event.
Yeah.
And that is so helpful for my mental health. I cannot even begin to name it. You know, just getting a little dose of family in between the gig. You know, that's a gigantic treat that I do not take for granted.
Yeah.
Ever. Because I won't get it for half the year. You know, I won't have that opportunity. I look forward to going on the road too, but I love being home right now. I'm in my last throes of touring, I think.
You think so?
I say that every year.
So you are, because that's another thing that we've talked about in the past.
I love quitting.
You are you're the consummate queen of quitting. And you say
Proud of it.
You say it in such a wonderful way that I was listening to your interview and we've talked about this in person. And I go, oh yeah, I remember that about Kristen. And I'm like,
huge
she's
fan.
So smart. She just knows when to hold them. She knows when to fold them. She knows when to walk away.
Know when to run.
And knows when to run, except you're not a runner.
I'm not going to run.
Quitting is different from running. And how is quitting different from running? And explain a little bit.
Ooh, yeah, I love that.
Because you've learned when to quit. You've been on some of the biggest gigs and said, nope, not for me, I'm good.
Yeah.
And respectfully so. You've done this. That's what I mean. Like, you're not running, you're quitting. What is the difference between creatively quitting and running?
That's a great question. If I just have to, I guess, identify that real quick. If I think about running from a gig, let's say that I've been on it a while and I'm just like, I gotta get out. It sounds reactive.
It does.
It sounds like you're going to wait for something bad to happen, so you have to run.
Right.
You know, I think about this a lot. I'm getting into, most of my friends are in their 30s and 40s. So we're in that phase of life where like things can get a little stale. You can lose your passion where you're at, you know, whether it's in your relationship or your job or whatever. And I'm a big fan of changing the thing. Like if I'm not able to bring good energy anymore, I'm like, well, my good energy is the only one I want y'all to have. That's the only energy I want to be known for.
Yeah.
So if my bad energy is getting spread around, I'll be known for that too.
Yep.
And I got big energy. So you're going to know either way. You're going to know how I feel when I'm in a space. I can absolutely be professional. It's not like I'm just like going to work like, I hate it now. Like it's not that. But I definitely consider that I don't want to be in a position where I have to run.
Right. Well, that's great.
I don't want to be in a position where I feel like I have to get away because something's bad, or I have to get away because I'm so deep into this thing. I like don't love it anymore. Oh my God, I have to get away. I have to, you know, the minute it's reactive, I think that there's a lot more emotion attached to it, where it may have just truly been like a business decision.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
And that makes sense.
I like getting to make the choice at that point, because then we are speaking professionally and calmly. And I'm going, you know what, maybe the culture of this doesn't suit me anymore. Or, you know what, I know too much about this artist and I'm having trouble going on stage and being like rah rah behind them.
Yeah.
That's been one of them.
That's a big one for a lot of people.
And it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And I think too, the more exposure your gig has, the weirder that is, because people come to you being like, oh, you work for so-and-so, aren't they? Blah, blah, blah. Like, people really attribute a whole personality to artists that I'm
absolutely.
like, even if you've watched every interview they've ever done, these are smart people. They can be giving you what they want to give you.
Oh, yeah.
They have a persona. They know what works.
Oh.
And they may not be like that at all. You know, I think of artists who are like really activism based. And I think those are the people that everybody really wants to be like that too. And it's like, some of them really are, and some of them that I've experienced really aren't. And like that, I'm like, oh my God, you're forcing me to lie. Like, you're forcing me to like act like you're this. You know what I mean?
I know
because
exactly
I'm close to you.
Yeah. I've been on that tour a few times in my life.
It's hard.
And I'm like, wow, this person is just not being truthful, and they're not very honest. And literally the words that came out of their mouth, and I'm not kidding, I've been scolded. Optics, Larry. Somebody said, like my second grade teacher, optics, Larry. And I was like, oh, excuse me. I didn't last much longer on that tour. Just because it was just not for me.
I mean, I've been in a situation, thankfully it wasn't me, but a good friend of mine was on a tour, and she was told her social media needed to reflect the political opinions of the artist, and this was something that was against a community that she belonged to.
Yeah.
And she was like, can I just say nothing? Can I just stay out of it, please? Because this is just my job. And they tried to force that on her. And honestly, that might get litigious someday. And I am sitting here just like, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, okay. So now let's add on top of it all, you're a woman. So yeah,
I am?
I've read somewhere. I read somewhere on the back of a magazine, written in magic marker, that Kristen Rogers is in fact a woman. But you're a woman in this crazy business.
Yay!
Is it insane to be doing what you're doing? I mean, if somebody, a young up-and-coming singer-songwriter, background vocals, whatever it is that they want to do, from a woman's perspective, it's such a blanket thing. I can't ask you to answer the question for all women.
What's it like for women? Yeah.
Right? But I mean, I'm married to a woman that's in this business. Yeah.
And she's tight.
Yeah. And she still is tight. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. We love Sarah.
Yeah. She still, to this day, has to go through she's a good drummer for a woman.
Oh,
and I'm just like, go to hell. She's probably one of the best drummers in the world, period.
Yes, she's just a good drummer.
Just a good drummer. This is a conversation that I know comes up a million times, but you are a woman and you're not 18.
No, I'm 38,
You're
baby.
38. Okay, you're 38, woman in this business. You're saying now maybe touring, you're winding it down, perhaps. So where are you at? What does it feel like for you now where you are? You're at the top of your game?
Let me first say that...
I didn't ask a question at all, but go ahead.
But you know what? I'll talk. Let me first address that I am very lucky because all of my female instrumentalist friends have experienced what your wife has.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, you're good for a gal, or I think Nashville especially is trying to be responsive to some of the criticisms that it's received, especially as country music has been. There are no female side players. There are no black players in country music. Or excuse me. I know you guys are out there. I love you guys.
Denisha.
Hell yeah. Tons of people.
Tons of people.
But just historically, before the last 10 years, almost none. And 10 years is not that long ago, guys. No. That said, Nashville is doing its best to, I think, sometimes be atoning in that way. But it can feel really gross.
Yes.
The way that it's happening. Let's put together an all-girl band and get all the girls in. And a friend of mine, she gets hired for a lot of that kind of stuff. And she's like, yeah, I just want to be the best bass player you can call. I don't want it to be I'm the best for a girl. Yeah. I don't want to always get stuck in these things where it's like, hey, this is about you guys, girls who are good as well.
Right.
It's so condescending.
Yes.
I will say I'm lucky. I don't really experience that because a guy can't do my job.
That's true.
Let me be very real. I have multiple male friends who have my exact vocal range. Yeah. It's not that they physically can't.
Jeremy Lister's like, if she had to take the night off, I could do her job tonight. Because Jeremy Lister, I love you so much. You are that good and you are that beautiful of a human being.
He is my co-background singer on Post Malone and many other projects. We've worked on many records together. I adore him to death. But absolutely he can sing all my parts on Posty and I can sing his.
Right.
Sometimes we flip.
That's fun, right? I love that.
There's a couple little spots where we'll play. But it's like, why not? He's got a gorgeous tone up high and I'm a dude. So like, we just have a great time. That said, usually if you're looking for a female BGV, you're looking for a female BGV. You're going to hit me. You're not going to randomly be like, actually, men are such better background singers. So I'm in a different category in that way. So I don't receive a lot of that. But I will say, you started to mention like young women coming into the industry.
Absolutely.
I do recognize that from a very young age, I've always been like very confident and kind of no nonsense.
Yeah.
A story I know you heard on the other podcast is I was involved with a record deal when I was really young and had to hold boundaries with grown men who were freaking me out when I was 17.
Yeah.
I had to say like, absolutely not. I don't want to work with you because you're freaking me out about sexual energy and harassment and my body and like, hell no.
Good for you. I mean, that's huge. You say it with such ease. And
it's easy to be like, fuck you, when they act that way.
That's wonderful. It's not for a lot of people.
Well, and that's what I'm acknowledging is I do realize it's easy for me because I'm a bit of a sass.
Yeah.
And now I am, older and it's not happening as much, thank goodness, but it is still happening.
Yeah.
And I feel very protective of young women in this industry, like supremely. And I've considered leaving this industry many, many, many times. It's tough and demoralizing sometimes. But a reason I think about a lot that I haven't is if I go because I'm pissed off, then I'm not here.
Yeah.
And who knows who takes my role if I go. But the truth is, if I'm pissed that only, crappy people who misbehave are here, me staying means it's not just crappy people who are misbehaving.
Right.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope that that's what that means.
You found your space, which is exactly what an artist does, what a human being does, which is find your spots. You don't need to blast yourself over everything. Yeah. Find your spots.
Yeah. And just spread out a little safety around you.
Yes.
That's why I love teaching is I do get access to young artists a lot. Your management calls me like, they've never toured before. I'm like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely need some support. So I get to be in front of these young women and I get to be like, hey, do you feel safe? Are you feeling good?
Wow.
Everybody treating you with respect? Do you need any support from an older woman? Because like, I'm here for it. In fact, actually, I realized years ago that when these, like especially sexually harassment kind of energy comes at you, which still is very common, boys, like Nashville did not go through Me Too like a lot of other cities did.
Absolutely not.
There's still some things we got to get done. But that said, again, I'm not afraid to sass you. I'm not afraid to hold a boundary. I'm not afraid to do it in so classy a way. You'll go, was she even mean? I mean, last time I was really, really cornered somewhere. The man offered, I think what he thought was a good offer to me. And I went, oh, no, thank you.
Right.
I would never.
Right. Yeah. Good.
But my favorite thing to do, because I think sometimes people require you to be rude. Yeah. And that really upsets me because I'm like, so you're going to belittle me by saying this to me and then require me to be rude back to you to get you to back down.
Right.
I started to come up with little clever ways that hopefully protect the next person you might say that to.
Right.
So for instance, insert married man on the road, getting squirrely. We've been out a month. He's looking at me real funny and he can't resist it. Today he says something nasty.
Hoping that you will reciprocate and then...
yeah, and then we'll all live our dreams for 3 to 4 minutes. Right. So I'm like, whatever. But you know what? I don't mind handling that. I don't mind just being like, literally what? But I think about it. I'm your last stop.
Yeah.
I'm in the band, which means I have more exposure. I'm directly close to the artist. I can get you to lose your job. I've never done that, but I have the power.
Yeah.
I'm older. I'm obviously sassy and kind of like, hell no. I'm your last stop. You've probably already done this to every young 20-something woman on the tour, or you want to, or you're about to.
Yeah.
So I'll just turn right around and go, you know what I was thinking about today? See, Larry is looking me in the eyes. He's like, oh no, because my energy is dark. You know what I was thinking about today is how amazing your wife is to stay home, to take care of your home and raise your children so you can come out here and have your dream job. Like, what an incredible woman.
Right. Cut away to him putting his ring back on his finger.
Calling his wife, being like, baby, I think I might be an idiot. You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that, during that interaction, I walk away and I go, I have a blast. I think that shit is so funny. Yeah. But I hope that next time you're about to treat a woman like that, say something, betray your wife and family energetically. I hope that you go, oh, what's the last thing somebody said to me when I did this? And I hope that I'm just right there lingering in your frame of past vision, haunting you. Yeah. And that maybe you don't say it.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
It's a seed planted. It's a hope.
But you are part of a community and you do take care of your community. You're not just thinking about yourself because you're like, I know how to handle this stuff.
And I'm lucky. And I think that's why I've gotten to some of the rooms I've gotten into.
Yeah.
Is because I didn't let it get muddy.
Right. And you take care of others. And I want to acknowledge what you did for so many of us, myself included. Aww. There was a time, I think it was a year ago, around this time, or was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago now when we started all that.
Eric Church basically had a new song out called Johnny. And it was a choir. And you texted me, you said, hey, how do you feel about singing in a choir? Kristen Rogers, I swear, I thought my dreams were coming true, but it had no bearing on what you were talking about. I was thinking that we were going to be singing Beethoven's Ninth. I was like, oh my gosh, my dream, just to be a tenor, just to be a tenor in a sea of other tenors. That is just mixing in and harmonizing and flowing with other singers. This is my dream come true, of course. Or any other piece of music that I love, like Mozart, Beethoven, doesn't matter. I'm going to be in a church singing. It'll be for Easter or for Christmas. And I'm like, yay. And it was nothing like that.
No.
But it was singing with Eric Church.
It was.
It was singing with you. You called up about 30 or 40 singers.
40 singers for, I think, almost 30 gigs throughout the year.
Yes, 40 singers for almost 30 gigs throughout the year. And the pay was great. And the respect was great. The song was phenomenal. You and Billy Justino.
Yeah, we arranged that together.
You were the choir boss. Choir boss over here.
Yes. I
remember what you said. You said something to the effect of like, this is my opportunity to call all of the friends, especially women, that are not on tour right now because they're having babies and they're with their families, or even the husbands or the men that aren't on tour. Doesn't have to be married or anything like that. Sure. People that were not necessarily even working, some people working all the time. You took care of so many of us, and I want to acknowledge that was a beautiful, beautiful gesture, and it was amazing, the experience. I never met Eric Church, which is amazing.
Right?
I never met him. Yeah, they're like, what's it like working with him? I'm like, it's great.
I'm like, he went on stage and then he left. It was crazy.
But it was a flash mob vocal thing. So
it was really cool.
We were able to sort of surprise the audiences, and we were very quiet and inconspicuous. Of course, for some reason, it's hard for me to be inconspicuous. I guess it's the hair. I don't know. Maybe it's you call yourself Brother Love. I don't know. But
you got big, shiny energy, Larry. They noticed you.
We were in the hallway waiting to go into the theater over at Chiefs, which is a beautiful venue.
It's a great venue, especially for like a downtown bar. It is the best one. Pews, and it's like decorated like a church. If you guys ever get a chance, I'm actually going to say it. Go to Chiefs. It's great.
Yeah. I play on Broadway circuit. I don't play at Chiefs, but I go to Chiefs because
it's beautiful.
So I'm we're waiting in the wings. We're in a hallway, and there's like 15 of us on a stairwell, and it's like, be quiet. Nobody's supposed to know why you're here. And I hear, hey, Brother Love, what's happening, man? What's going on? What are you doing here, man? You playing here tonight? And I'm like, no, I'm just standing in a hallway. They're like, what are you doing? There's like a few venues in this place. Are you singing in this room? You singing in there? What are you doing? I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm still standing right here, just trying to be inconspicuous.
So I'm subtle here right now.
Nothing going on. No, but really, man, what are you doing here? And I'm like, just keep going, man. So
I love it.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. What a fun gig. I got to sing at the Ryman. That was my first time. That was one of my bucket lists. I've sort of been able to sing all over, cool spots, but the Ryman I had never had.
Yes, so it was really cool, and Eric brought y'all in to do that, which I wasn't even there that day.
I know
I was
you
on
weren't
the
there.
road. Miss Michelle ran it for us. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, and I do. Jeremy Lister is such a fabulous singer.
Oh, my baby boy.
Jason Eskridge, I want to give a lot of love to. Kendra Chantel, Maureen Murphy, Michelle Brook, Janelle Means. There's so many more.
Yeah, we had 67 choir members over the course of the year.
Yeah, but these are some of the people that I see around town, I've worked with. Rachel Rodriguez, I love.
Baby girl.
And you really are a matriarch in this community. No, you really are. And everybody truly looks up to you. I look up to you. You're the call for so many records. And honestly, you can sing all of the parts and you listen. Performing on stage with you was probably the most exciting and fun thing.
It's so fun.
And I got to say, something that you do that nobody does, or rarely people do, is, and I don't know how you do it, but you are able to learn all of the material.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you say it like, oh, yeah, which is pretty amazing, because after you, life got hard, Kristen. She played like one Them Vibe show, and I was like, oh, after you.
I played 2 or 3.
You did.
I
know.
loved it.
You learned all of the parts.
Oh, yeah.
You knew all of the vocals. You knew all the parts. So singing with you, being able to just literally throw something at you, meaning like, we're going to switch now.
Well,
I'm
you
gonna go
like
high.
to improvise during the
Yes.
show, which I love.
Yes.
Because once you know everything really well, you can depart from it.
Exactly. And so I really am so impressed. You knew all of the parts, and you knew my parts, and you knew your parts, and you knew the other parts, and you're so present. And I think that is such a gift that you give to all of us. Your presence on all of these recordings, your presence live. You're out on tour this coming year, right?
Yes.
Post Malone, how many shows you got booked so far?
Oh gosh, hell if I know. We've got a run. This year, it's kind of like we're doing all the college stadiums. We've got a run it starts in May that'll go through the States. We're doing festivals, kind of intermittent.
Cool.
And then later this year, we've got another run, but I can't tell you about it legally.
Yeah.
But you know what? I actually do, if I may, touch on the listening for 1 second.
Please.
Because this was actually something I was going to say earlier back in the finger in the well situation, which sounds dirty now that I put it that way. Anyway, listening and singing. I think this is the skill that would make so many more BGVs so much more desired, because you have to be learning as you're performing.
Absolutely.
All the time I get thrown on the stage with somebody who goes rogue, which like is fun. I'll never forget working with Anderson East. I mean, that boy's never sung anything the same twice, and it's exciting and it's so interesting and cool. But you have to be singing the first chorus with him,
Right.
missing, because he's not singing it like the record. You're singing the record, he's not. You have to be missing, and also at the same time listening and clocking everything he's doing different. So second chorus, you get closer.
Right.
Or maybe you get it. You know, there's this like, you have to kind of split your brain in two and be able to fully sing while also fully listening. And like you, even just naturally as a percussionist, you're doing that.
Right.
You're like, where is the beat? And then also moving the sing into that, you know, even just that. I have students all the time who can't listen and sing, and I'll stick a shaker in their hand. And I'm like, you do this until it matches and make your voice match all of it.
Yeah.
You don't get to sing until this is easy.
Nice.
You know, I know you love that. I know you love that.
Nice. That's great.
But it's like when
I just had a panic attack.
You're like, I want to do it. I want to do it.
Can I do it?
Yes, you can. I'll go get the shaker in a minute.
You're a great teacher.
I think that forces someone to consider that they need to listen a lot more. And those are the singers that get lost. Singers like, what section are we on? Or what's going on here? It's like, no. You have to be so engaged the whole time. Because also, then I get on stage with you and you kind of look over at me and you go, you guys leave awesome, like big open jam sections in your music. And you'll just look over at me like, ooh. You're like kind of like making eye contact, like, hey, ooh. And then you'll point at me. And I'm like, you want me to sing that or a harmony? But I wait for that first tinge of your voice to come in. Did you switch notes or didn't you? And the first tinge of that, your voice comes in, I go, because I'm already in my mind going, I'm either going to sing ooh or ooh, you know, whatever.
Absolutely.
I'm like planning the minute you kind of start looking at me sideways.
Yep.
So then I'm waiting. Do you move part or do I move part?
Yep.
Because I'll hold it down or I'll add a harmony, whatever needs to happen. But that just like really, really deep engagement. Like I will not say yes to a gig unless I'm saying yes to a gig, and I'm going to treat it exactly like I treat all my gigs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, cause I do jams with friends. I do big shows, but I'm like, my yes means the same amount of work no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what the budget is, no matter what time we have, I'm going to learn my Post Malone set as deeply and in as much detail as I'm going to learn the Them Vibe set, because guess what? It's me who's coming to do this. I want to give my best to everything. It has nothing to do with anything else.
Gosh, yes.
And I just freaking love your music.
Yeah.
So I do know, like, I think I learned your gig like extra good because I just started jamming it once I had the music. I was like, I just enjoy listening to this. Like, I'm just going to get down.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing that.
Well, thank you for letting me do it. It's a great energy.
Thanks. You are great energy. Here's a quote. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. That is Howard Thurman, American author, philosopher, theologian, Christian mystic, and educator, and civil rights leader. You are alive and well.
Aww.
You are, and you really give back to so many of us. You are an inspiration. I have a speed round of questions. Are you ready for me?
I love speed, and I just finished my coffee, so I've got it.
That's great. What fascinates you, Kristen Rogers?
science of all sorts. I want to know everything about everything. Just give me the deep why.
Yeah, that's so cool. What do you, is there anything right now that you're like?
Oh, I'm always into some edge of neurology.
Yeah.
And presently, I mean, of course, because I'm teaching a lot this season, it is how do we access the vocal musculature through the brain, because it's the only thing we can use to move it around.
Wow.
So the more you know about neurology and how your brain works, the more you can work with this musculature.
Where do you find the time? That's not part of the questions. But what angers you? What pisses you off?
People that treat people within a hierarchical structure really upsets me. You see it a lot in music.
Yep.
I really hate all that separation. I really hate the, like, I have this kind of gig, so I'm better than you. Or I work in this part of the tour, so I'm better than you. Like, guess what?
Yeah.
If I think I'm better than the crew who work, you know, in excess of 12-hour days, physical labor, whenever I work about 3.
Yeah.
If I treat a single person in that role with disrespect, like, I hope you guys literally put me on the spit.
Yeah.
And eat me.
Yeah, for sure.
With like a good sauce. I'm not here for that.
No.
It really angers me.
Good. I appreciate that angers you.
Of course, culturally as well, there are things there, but the tour world is always, of course, what's going to light me up first.
Absolutely. So what brings you joy? Pure joy.
Oh my gosh. You know what? At this moment, it is my family of friends.
Yeah.
I have cried about 3 times in the last week about how lucky I am not only to have them in my life as a day-to-day support, but also, you know, being in town 20 years this year, I feel like I've got a real nostalgic tilt on me, and I'm, you know, playing these crazy gigs and doing all this really fun stuff and getting paid well with my stupid friends. I got to play a really cool gig this weekend. Unfortunately, can't say what it was, but you know, like, my best friend Billy is like out there ripping a keys solo, and I didn't have to be on stage for that song.
Yeah.
So I like ran up and I'm like, you know, just acting like an idiot, dancing at him and everything. And it's like, we shouldn't be able to do that in that room, but we can, because we're so lucky to do this together, you know?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
If you had a magic wand, and you could fix anything or change it to your liking, what would it be? That's the sound of the magic wand, by the way. What a sad wand. I'm Kristen Rogers. Pow!
I'm
My
searching
magic
for
wand.
like a medium dark answer, because I could really give like a heavy dark answer right now, and I don't think we need it.
Whatever you
I
want.
think we all live in the darkness enough right now.
Whatever you want.
You know what? This is simple,
What?
but it would reduce anger for so many. I would make it so that your car could not turn unless you use your blinker. Your steering wheel freezes up unless you use your dang blinker. Do you know how much anger that would solve in the world?
It's
if we all knew where each other were going.
My catchphrase when I get off the radio on Lightning 100 on Sunday nights is, "We're not alone. Use your turn signal." In fact, I'm not kidding. I have
I've
a
never
t-shirt.
heard you do that, but I'm so excited.
I have a t-shirt. It's sitting in my house. I have a box of t-shirts that I have to sell. I sold one. I just haven't been out doing it yet. I'm going to wait for the spring.
You know how badly I need one?
This t-shirt is, "You're not alone. Use your turn signal."
I'm obsessed with you.
Yes, I agree
Thank
with
you.
you. 1,000%.
But you know those like micro angers, that's what
Yes.
we bring in when somebody slams their brakes in front of you and turns right, which, by the way, you don't have to stop to turn right. You don't. I feel like somebody needs to hear that. You're like trying to get somewhere and you show up even more keyed up just because of those little things. Yeah, I would fix that.
Use your turn signal, okay? All
Yeah,
right.
literally just like, let's make it so the wheels don't turn unless...
Good. I like that. Okay, last question.
Yes.
Toilet paper, over or under?
Over. What are we, monsters?
Thank you. You see, we could all just live the way Kristen Rogers lives. The world will be a better place. Kristen Rogers, where do we find you? Do we want to find you? Do you want to be found?
Great question. In general, no.
Okay, great.
In general, I do not care to have much of a public persona, and I do not. You can find me on Instagram, KAYROG. But if you do, just be aware that that is not a representation of me as a human being, but rather a living resume, so that if people are trying to hire me, they can understand what I've recently done.
That's great.
I love the idea of expressing myself, and I promise that I do to the people in my life in real life.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I struggle with the internet.
Yeah, don't we all? But Kristen
Who's
Rogers.
like, that's great.
Well, I mean, we struggle with it, but you are available. I just want to put it out there. You're available
Yes.
for all things singing.
Yes, I am about to go on the road for the year, so voice lessons, if this goes up in some time, won't probably be a big feature for the rest of the year.
Right.
But always here to sing on records, always bring my rig on the road. That's always fun.
Yeah.
And, if nothing else, I'll see y'all at the Posty Show.
That's right. Kristen Rogers, you will see all of us screaming right back at you on on tour with Post Malone. And thank you so much for being on the Just Keep Talking podcast with me, your friend, Brother Love.
Yes, Larry, you're the best.
Thank you so much. And thanks really so very much. Thank you for tuning into this show, the Just Keep Talking podcast. Your story really does matter. And being able to share these stories with friends in our community here in Nashville, Tennessee means the world to me. So until next time, use your turn signal.
Use your turn signal.
We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You can personally support this show simply by clicking the tip link in the show notes. The Just Keep Talking podcast is now available on all podcast platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. Visit our website at justkeeptalking.com, our YouTube channel at Just Keep Talking Podcast, and Instagram at The Just Keep Talking Podcast. We all just want to be seen, to be heard, and to belong. Thank you so much for supporting my mission and the Just Keep Talking Podcast with me, Brother Love, because your story matters.